Hey, Ryu. Sorry to hear about your dad.
Yeah, sorry.
The day after he disappeared, in Father's room I found a letter addressed to me.
A letter?
This is pre-internet Control.
Oh, right.
It said, Ryu, I am on my way to a life or death duel.
The worst kind of duel, okay.
If it is destiny that I not return, you ought to take the dragon sword of the Hayabusa family and go to America and see the archaeologist Walter Smith.
America! Hey, that's great. We can show you around.
Oh, beautiful for spacious sky.
I will get my revenge.
Revenge? Whoa.
I will find this archaeologist Walter Smith and feed him his own intestines.
What?
Look, Ryu, I think this Smith guy is just your contact. He's not your enemy.
Thank you for visiting, Kontrol. But I must attend to this matter at once.
No, wait, Ryu. All right, then.
Revenge for what? It sounds like his dad was in a fair fight and got bitched. Who are you calling?
Walter Smith. I hope he has a summer home in New Zealand or something. Greetings all. My name is Kontrol. I'm a professional artist, a huge fan of classic Marvel and DC comics. You're watching the latest in a series of gaming pinup videos, so if you like what you see, think about hitting the like button on your way out and subscribe for more. We're talking ninjas today, people. This being a gaming-oriented art channel, it was obviously only a matter of time before they came up, and of course, they need no introduction. Everybody knows what a ninja is?
Covert warrior agents of 15th century feudal Japan.
No! They are stock archetypes of cartoons in 80s action movies.
At least you didn't say pizza-loving reptiles who live in the sewer.
What's amusing about Ninja Gaiden is how it almost perfectly follows the template set by goofy low-budget martial arts flicks. That being one insanely OP ninja who faces off against hordes of modern-day enemies, many of whom attack with useless guns and explosives. For the uninitiated, meaning those of you too young to remember VHS tapes from the action movie aisle of their local video store,
Remember to rewind before returning the movie, kids.
here's a bit of that early ninja movie flavor.
Ninja, hired assassins, trained killers.
Aw, shit.
Oh, Bruce Lee. That was Bruce Lee, right?
Nah. I think those are the same red guards from The Last Jedi.
They, do seem bad at their job.
I think that was James Caan.
Khan!
When cosplayers go bad.
Morning, everyone. Ah! You go, Burt Reynolds.
Go! Stick around. Oh, come on, would you give it up, you stupid red shirts?
They're like special needs ninjas.
Check out his ninja stealth. I can barely see that white suit flying through the air in slow motion.
If you take on a ninja, no matter how many you are, be prepared for the consequences. Enter the ninja from Canon.
No white leisure suits were harmed in the making of this film.
That was the best movie trailer I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. I made sure of it. Now, TECMO, the creators of Ninja Gaiden, seem to agree with the movie guys that our stealth assassins were ideally suited for modern enemy threats like machine guns, but they upped the ante with the inclusion of ancient mysticism. This enabled the appearances of all kinds of bizarre creatures and giant bosses to challenge our ninja hero. Something I'm sure canon films would have done if such a thing was possible for 80s B movies. They couldn't even make realistic blood. Now, it's kind of interesting that while the movies relegated ninjas to the grade B discount bin, TECMO was treating their ninja games like big summer blockbusters. They were admirably determined to make something very special. When Ninja Gaiden debuted on the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System, it arrived with something pretty much unheard of on consoles. A complete story told through in-game cutscenes. The technical limitations of the time didn't allow for any fancy stuff, but they did have a nicely cinematic widescreen effect and a decent attempt at movie-style editing. Add a truly awesome 8-bit soundtrack, and Ninja Gaiden easily secures its spot among the best of the best. It's also worth noting that TECMO's company tagline in those days was, and I'm quoting here, "hard to beat." Now, before Ninja Gaiden arrived, the only other TECMO game I'd ever played was a puzzler called Solomon's Key, which was indeed insanely difficult. Unbeatable was my diagnosis at the time. And guess what? I didn't beat it. Now, Ninja Gaiden wasn't quite as hard as Solomon's Key, but it is noteworthy for triggering the very first gamer rage of my young life. If you happen to know someone ancient enough to have played the original Ninja Gaiden, ask them about the birds. Those birds. The Queen's Society of Gaming voted them the most annoying enemies ever created.
The Queen's Society of Gaming? Aren't you chairman of the board?
Yes, I'm also the membership. Now, the 21st century version of Ninja Gaiden was defined by the legendary reboot that appeared on the original Xbox. This classic moved our hero Ryu Hayabusa to the 3D space with what were arguably the best graphics seen to date on home consoles. Rivaled maybe by TECMO's own Dead or Alive 3, which, coincidentally, was another Xbox exclusive starring Ryu Hayabusa. Look it up. The Ninja Gaiden reboot not only brought back the original game's main hero, but also the crazy difficulty. A different kind of difficulty this time with some truly formidable enemies. I suspect the sadist at From Software were probably inspired by this supreme challenge. What was new though was a huge emphasis on blood and gore. Confronting Ryu usually results in a shower of arterial spray and homeless body parts, something that had to be edited out for more sensitive parts of the globe, but it remains a visual trademark for the modern series. Which obviously meant it was time for yet another splatter pinup. Alright, get out of here. If you're wondering how a guy with a submachine gun loses a fight to a swordsman in footy pajamas, you clearly haven't seen Ryu Hayabusa in action. The guy's speed and power are practically Kryptonian. If you're wondering how a sliced off arm and head end up yards away from their murdered host, well, it's a known fact that ninja carefully choreograph their murder sprees for the best possible visual composition. Look it up. Well, look at you! Dear viewer, you've made it to the end, which means your head is firmly attached and in superb working order. If for some reason you are attacked by ninjas, just mention my name and tell them you're subbed to my channel. Shinobi love fan art. Do me a favor and hit the like button on your way out, and make sure to be back next week for another fan art show just like this, although probably with significantly less gratuitous violence.